Hi, I'm Darnell Mayberry with the Oklahoman, here with Vince Orza of the Minders School of Business, Oklahoma City University. We're going to talk about the team name for Oklahoma City's NBA franchise. Vince is going to give us his top 10, or our top 10, and he's going to tell us why they might work or why they might not work. Let's start with Thunderbirds. Vince, what do you know about Thunderbirds? Is that a possible nickname for Oklahoma City's team?
You know, one of the things you have to think about when you pick a team name is nicknames, because it has to fit on a jersey, first of all. It's got about that much space. So Thunderbirds, in all likelihood, every newscaster or sportscaster in town would probably call them the Birds rather than the Thunderbirds. So you have to decide, do you want to be the Thunderbirds or do you want to be the Birds? You know, it's like in Arizona, they have the Arizona Diamondbacks, but they're called the D-backs. So I think the name is a consequence of how you say it, how you're going to spell it, where it's going to fit, and what everybody's going to nickname it to. So that'll be a consideration. Thunderbirds would likely be shortened.
How about Barons? That's a short name. What's your impressions of Barons?
Well, you know, good names, especially for a team, imply action. They imply strength. They've got to be positive. They've got to be short, easy to say, easy to spell. Can't be mispronounced. Barons is clearly a name of strength. It's pretty short and sweet. It fits on a jersey. It probably has some possibilities.
One name that's sort of popular around the state, Twisters. What's your impressions of Twisters?
Kind of a mixed bag name. Likely, again, there'll be a nickname for it somehow. They'll be called the Twist. They'll be called the Twisters. They'll probably be referred to as the Tornado because a tornado and a twister are the same thing. So it'll be interesting to see, because that name can be used so many different ways, if that makes the cut.
Weather-related nicknames. Thunder. What were your impressions of Thunder?
You know, thunder's a good term because it, again, implies power. There's noise to it. You can see the crowd being worked as we try to make the thunder louder inside the Ford Center. So that has some positive possibilities.
A lot of people like animals. Bison is a name that's sort of popular. What's your impressions of bison?
You know, it's one of those things that they look good when you look at them, but bison as a term isn't a real great, exciting word, because they're just kind of big, lumbering animals, but they're strong. So I don't know that I particularly think bison's a great name, but you never know.
Marshalls is a name that sort of, last week everyone thought that, the name was actually going to be Oklahoma City Marshals. What's your impressions of Oklahoma City Marshals?
You know, again, it's not something that can be shortened, so that's a positive. They're going to be the Marshals. No matter what you say, they got to be the Marshals. But again, nicknames could develop out of that. They could be referred to as the Law. We're going to lay down the law. A little bigger, you know, you got whatever that is, 7 letters. That gets a little tight on a uniform where you really want, you know, the uniforms are designed to sell something. You want the TV camera to hone in on that uniform. And if some of the letters start to go under the arms, or you have to make the logo smaller, that's a negative. So that's a consideration. That's a lot of letters for a nickname. Another
short one is Energy. What do you think about Energy?
Energy is one of those kind of oddball names. So I'd be surprised if that made the cut, because we're an energy state, but that doesn't really say very much as a name, as opposed to the Barons or, you know, the Wildcats or the Marshals or something.
And Outlaws. What do you think about Outlaws?
You know, again, kind of a cool name. It's got a little bit of strength to it. You could see where it would probably have some appeal to the general public, but you know, really it's a consequence of what the owners want the team to represent. And, you know, some people might get upset about having a negative term. Outlaw is a negative term. You try to go for a positive term.
Along the same lines of Twisters, Tornadoes is a slight variation of it. What are your thoughts on Tornadoes?
You know, again, a long term, first of all, kind of tough to fit that on a uniform unless you make it smaller. It does say something about Oklahoma, and clearly it has power and strength, and those are positives.
And then the final one, Boomers. Can that be a possibility?
It could, and I wouldn't be surprised at all if sportscasters referred to it as the Boom as well as the Boomers. You know, there's just a history of Oklahoma and Boomers, and that's a positive, but probably not, again, the first choice, I would think, in terms of a powerful strength name. Just some of the other ones might be better choices.
Vince, thanks so much for your time. For more on Oklahoma City's NBA team name, log on to newsok.com and be sure to check out the Oklahoman.